Morning everyone, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. This is the beginning of a new 9 weeks, meaning grades start fresh and you start fresh. Today's lesson is about key features of linear equations. Let's start with the equation y equals x. This is telling me that no matter what values I plug in for x, y is always going to be the same number as whatever x is. So if x is 1, then y is 1. If x is 2, then y equals 2. If x is negative 3027, then y equals negative 3027. So whatever number I replace x with, that's what y equals. Let's see it in table form. If y equals x, then if x is negative 2, y is negative 2. If x is negative 1, then y is negative 1. If x equals 0, then y equals 0. If x equals 1, then y equals 1. If x equals 2, then y equals 2. And if x equals 3, then y equals 3. Now let's graph it. So I'm going to graph these points. First, I have negative 2, negative 2. Then x equals negative 1, y equals negative 1. Then x equals 0, y equals 0. Then we have 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, 3. One thing I noticed about this graph, it goes through the origin, meaning it goes through 0, 0. Now let's find the slope. The slope is rise over run, meaning how many times it goes up or down divided by how many times it goes right between 2 points. Let's use the points 0, 0 and 2, 2. From my left point, I go up 2 times, meaning it has a rise of 2, positive 2. And then I go over 1, 2, and then I'm in line. So it has a run of positive 2. Positive 2 divided by positive 2 equals 1, meaning that the slope of this line is 1. The x-intercept, where on the x-axis does the line fall? Right here at 0, 0. Now, what about the y-axis? What is the y-intercept? It is also 0, 0. So all of this that we found out is all about y equals x, meaning the linear parent function. So our linear equations are all based off of this, the linear parent function, meaning that all functions are based on this in some way. The parent function is the simplest function in a family of functions. So linear functions are all lines. So all functions that are just straight lines are based on the parent function that we just covered. Some key transformations happen to linear functions based on these key features. We have the linear equation y equals mx plus b. M, any number that is multiplying by our x, is going to be the slope. And b is going to be our y-intercept. So anything that is being added to that x is going to be our y-intercept. The two things I need to write the equation are the slope and the y-intercept. Use this box to write what you remember about slope. Such as when I look at a line like this, I know it's positive. When I look at a line like this, I know it's negative. From here would be a slope of 0, and this would be undefined. So if you see a line going straight horizontally, that means its slope is 0, and if you see a line that goes straight up to down, this is undefined. Remember the key features of linear graphs. We have a slope, y-intercept, x-intercept, and equation. So let's find the slope of this line. So I'm going to choose 2 points. I like to call them the pretty points. They go perfectly through a grid point. For example, these 2 points right here. So from left to right, I want to see how far up or down it's going. So this is the left point. To line up there, it's going to go up 2 times. So the rise is positive 2, and the run is 1. 2 divided by 1 is going to give me 2. So I have a slope of 2. Then we want to find the y-intercept. So where along the y-axis does the point intercept? Would be right at -2. So B equals -2. That's our y-intercept, remember. And the x-intercept is at 1 right here. So just keep that in mind. But using just m and b, I can now write an equation. So for this, we're going to replace y equals mx plus b with the 2 points we just found. So m is 2, so y equals 2x, and b is -2. So instead of plus -2, I'm just going to put -2. So our equation is y equals 2x minus 2. So all you have to do is find your slope and your y-intercept. You can also find the slope just from looking at an equation like this. You can also find the y-intercept. So the slope right here would be, what was our m, is 2. So y equals mx plus b tells me that 2 is the slope and the y-intercept is positive 4. What about these two? Try to find the slope and the y-intercept and press play whenever you've done that. Go ahead and pause. So it looks like you're ready. Did you get -1/3 and positive 3? Remember, m is the number that's being multiplied by x. So anything that's being multiplied by x is your slope. The y-intercept is what's being added. Over here, I see 2/5 is being multiplied by x. So that is our slope. But nothing is being added, and the number for nothing is 0. So our y-intercept is 0. Here, we're going to graph the following equations and identify their key features, their slope and their y-intercept. Steps for graphing. Step 1 is going to be to plot the y-intercept. We know that B is the y-intercept. So in this case, that's positive 6. So on the y-axis, we should be at positive 6. Step 2 is going to be finding another point using slope. So our slope right now is -3, meaning that our rise over run is -3 over 1. So because our rise is negative, we're going to go down 3 points. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go over 1. So our second point would be right here. Let's do that again. So our rise is -3, so we're going to go down 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And then the run is over 1. So we're going to go to the right 1 time. Last time. 1, 2, 3. And over 1. Our x-intercept is at 2, 0, and our y-intercept is at 0, 6. Try to do the second one on your own and press play whenever you're ready. Go ahead and pause. So our step 1 is going to be to plot the y-intercept. In this case, our y-intercept, the b, is -1. So our y-intercept is going to be -1 on the y-axis. Step 2 is to find another point using slope. So if our slope is 1/4, that means that our rise is +1 and our run is 4. So we're going to go up 1 and then we're going to go over 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Going and doing that again, we're going to go up 1 and then we go over 1, 2, 3, 4. In this case, our x-intercept is 4, 0, and our y-intercept is 0, -1.